Now, as much as I like to joke about how old I am, and I do pull up the average Twitch streamer age a little bit, I am not quite old enough to remember Thunderbirds originally. Now, if you're not familiar with it at all, which you very well might not be, Thunderbirds was a TV show in the UK way back in 1964. It was created by a really, really famous dude named Jerry Anderson. And Jerry Anderson is the brainchild behind a bunch of different TV shows, some really interesting technologies that went into TV shows, and how to create vehicles on TV, and using puppets in interesting ways, and all sorts of cool stuff. So he pioneered, he championed a series of shows that utilized what he called super marionation, which were essentially marionette puppets that were done in new and in all sorts of crazy ways. I know, not quite that old. Almost there, not quite. So if you are not familiar with the name Jerry Anderson, you might be familiar with. So again, there were Thunderbirds, which we'll look at today. There was another show called Stingray, which was about a submarine and people on the submarine. And then there was Fireball XL5, Captain Scarlet. What are the other ones? And then later on he worked on Space 1999, another very, very famous, very popular show. Hey, Hudsonizer, welcome. So anyway, lots of stuff, and lots of really, really interesting things. So Thunderbirds was about a team. Mainly, they were family members of international rescue people. But to get around the world and to rescue people in all sorts of interesting and terrible situations, they had a fleet of vehicles. And again, these were all miniatures used on the show, and lots of special effects, sparks and kind of like Godzilla style effects. So they had a fleet of vehicles, and oh my God, were these vehicles cool. Now, over the years, again, this show started back in 1964. There have been a couple of remakes. There was a cartoon for a little while. There was a film, an American film that I think we all tried to pretend never happened. But over the years, yeah, exactly, practical effects. But over the years, there have been various toys made from these things. And this is another one of these series that, for some reason, gained a lot of popularity among collectors and collectible companies in Japan, which we will see in a moment. So their lineup of vehicles included Thunderbird 1, which was a rocket. I have it in... So this is before it deploys, and then once it deploys the wings. Obviously, these are different scales made by different companies at different times. Like I said, and there have been quite a bunch of Thunderbirds toys over the years. So Thunderbird 1 is a rocket, fly to different parts of the world very quickly, of course. Thunderbird 2 is this one that we're going to talk a lot about today. Sort of a cargo / rescue plane. Got an interesting shape to it, especially with this giant wing on the back. And the gimmick for this one is that this central part could pick up different emergency equipment. So let me try to remember how this works. Nope, not that one either. Come on. Oh, it's the one in the back. So it would fly down, pick up a pod. They could load the pod with little vehicles usually, and then pick it up and take it to wherever it needed to go. And this toy does it really well. Not only does it have the ability to attach to those, but it also has spring-loaded feet, so it can stand up, which is pretty cool, and then pick up things. Hey, Emily! And then this one has
Thunderbird 2 today. FAB, Scott.
it talks.
Let's get down there. Thunderbirds are go. Thunderbird 2, understand your danger zone. FAB.
So it talks. It does silly things. And after, so yeah, so this is Thunderbird 2. Thunderbird 3 is another rocket. Very famous design for Thunderbird 3. Oh, there's a Thunderbirds board game. Interesting. I did not know that. And then Thunderbirds 4 is this little water car looking thing, and I think this one, yeah, I think this one came with this set, so it could go inside Thunderbird 2. Oh, Elaki, you have it. Oh, that's cool. So again, the gimmick is they had a bunch of these different vehicles that could go and perform rescues. Squeak. So in addition to these, and this is the only older one that I have in a larger size, but I have a bunch of little ones. So I've got a couple different versions of, there's some beeping out there, some Thunderbird 4. This one's pretty cool. Let me see if I can, Carlton? I don't know. Some of these, I don't even know where I got them. I've just had these little toys forever. The yellow, well, this one kind of. Remember the other show was Stingray. This one had a submarine that was partly yellow. And this was, I believe, this was a. Oh man, I cannot see the bottom of that. I'm trying to read what company made this. Oh yeah, this is Hot Wheels. So Hot Wheels actually did an official version. Hey, Erdens, welcome. But it's cool. It's got like clear parts for the engines. All right, so the other, so I've got an itty bitty Thunderbird 2 to go along with the other Thunderbirds. Lots of detail on these too, which is pretty cool. Even look, they even colored the bottom. How rad is that? You don't see that every day. Thunderbird 5 was a satellite base, which was pretty cool. So they could fly out into space and then come back down, do rescues around the world. There's a little version there. No, unfortunately with this one, no base, which would have been nice because it just has this spire on the bottom, so it kind of just plops over. But what are you gonna do? Yeah, maybe they like the Beatles. Possible. And then there were a couple of lady characters in the show, and one of them had this really cool car that transformed into this jet. And again, like these really cool mechanical designs. So it had 2 sets of wheels in the front and 1 set in the back. They folded in when it changed to flight mode. And they made some really cool toys based off of these things. Yes, Eridance, exactly. They called it Super Marionation was the style. The drill is something. So they had drill vehicles. They had a whole bunch of like utility kind of vehicles, including. So then there was a set of toys that had. And again, now I'm looking at toys that are from Japan. So they had a set of these little elevator cars. Again, all things that would work with Thunderbird 2. And then these vehicles that would go on there that could be loaded in. Hey, Keen, how's it going? So we have the Firefly. some kind of grinding rock crusher things. Yeah, so I never really watched the show, and it also looked a bit creepy to me. A second elevator car with... This thing is just awesome. Oh yeah, their organization was called International Rescue. And look at that. It's got tracks in the front. Separate little tracks, bigger tracks. It's got this radar dish that moves. So just really neat designs, mechanical designs. Now the coolest thing I have for Thunderbirds, and again, from Japan, because all the best stuff is from Japan. They did a series. To be honest, I don't even remember what the other ones were. I only have this one. But there was... Oh, let me make sure I put it on the right way. They did a series of little, like, almost diorama style model kits. That's not going to work. No, that's not going to work. Hold on a second while I break it. I'll try not to, at least. Now, this was pre-painted. I didn't paint it myself, but it's the hanger, and you can see the Thunderbird 2 in there. And these are all of the different cargo modules, and it comes on a slider, so you can move it to whichever cargo module needs to be picked up for this week's mission, which is pretty neat. There's a whole bunch of detail in this thing. All these little pieces you put in. So yeah, this was fun to build. And then the little... Now, originally it had 2 parts. They could connect. For some reason, it's not connecting right now. But so you could slide it all the way through. And then I think it... I wonder if it connected to other kits as well. But yeah, this is super cool. I love this little thing. So in more recent years, like I said, there have been various reimaginings of the Thunderbirds, attempts to make it into other things. So there was another cartoon, or they made it into a cartoon called Thunderbirds Are Go. This was... Let's see. It says... This is made by Vivid Toy Group. I have no idea who that is. I don't think they're around anymore. Possible. I'm trying to remember what network this was on, this Thunderbirds show. I don't know. Oh yeah, so these are based on this design. But again, it's all sort of, it's very similar from over the years. But we've got Thunderbirds 2, pilot Virgil Tracy. Again, it's of the family of Tracys. It's an auxiliary equipment transport, top speed of 5,000 miles per hour. Oh, it was Cartoon Network, Fadir? Okay, thank you. Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was that or Nickelodeon, one of those. Max altitude 100,000 feet, payload up to 100 tons. And then it comes with a little Thunderbird 4, piloted by Gordon Tracy, underwater search and rescue, 160 knots. Yeah, and they had this cool island base. So let's open up this one. Yeah, I had Matchbox and Hot Wheels cars, but not a ton of them. I was definitely more into things like Transformers and stuff like that, but I had some. I have a handful now, but mainly vehicles that are either from something like Kit or from Knight Rider or the A-Team van. So I have stuff like that, or just stuff that has sentimental value for one reason or another. You know what, Aerodinsk, I did watch Fraggle Rock, and I was not From what I remember, I was not a huge fan, and I've never gone back and. I know there's people have a lot of nostalgia for that and go back and watch it, and I have not. Okay, this is a really weird package. My kids have a ton of Hot Wheels. And some of these insane tracks where they smash everything together and throw the cars off the top. It's pretty wild. Oh my goodness. This is so annoying. You gotta cut the tape to free the tabs. Okay. And then there's a tie. Wow. I really did not want this toy to move around in the package. Childproof. And adult collector proof, apparently. Oh, come on. Oh, there's one other thing. So regarding these Super Marionation shows, there's one of them that, again, I never watched, obviously, originally, because it was on in the 60s, but one of them was Captain Scarlet. And Captain Scarlet was about some kind of secret agent dude. And the gimmick for Captain Scarlet was that he would get into these crazy James Bond kind of situations. And apparently he was immortal, so he would die, but then just come back the next week. Or something, I don't know, I might not have that exactly right. But if you go on YouTube, you can watch the closing credits of that show are a series of really well done paintings of the character dying in horribly gruesome ways. And this is a kid's show, because then he'll just come back. All right, so we've got Thunderbird 2 and the little itty bitty Thunderbird 4. Thunderbird 4 can fit in the... Oh, actually, you know what? Let's take a look at my Thunderbird 4 collection. So obviously over the years they kept the same basic shape, inspiration for it. This one's kind of clunky. Just look at these two. Oh, give me that sweet focus. There we go. So a little bit updated, a little bit sleeker. But still, you know, obviously based on the same design. And again, that's what always drew me to this property, because I didn't really watch it, but... Alright, how does this go? Alright, that fits in snugly. These wings fold up for safety, storage, whatever you want. So it's got wheels on the bottom of that container. It's got... Let's see... This one also has pop-out legs, which is cool. Just like this older version. Just checking out all the details. Pretty cool. And this one also talks. Cool. So this one is from 2015. This toy is from, let's see, 2000. Oh, it continues to talk. And again, you can see the design. They updated it a little bit. Interesting that they pulled the wings further back. Kind of flattened out. It's a little bit more flat instead of as rounded. But yeah, like I said, I've always liked the designs for the vehicles, and even in this sort of modern version, I think they did a good job of translating, updating the designs a little bit. They introduced some new things in this series, which I never watched, but I did like the toys. The only other toy I have large scale is this, and this is one of my favorite. I'm just going to call it a spaceship. Obviously, it's not supposed to be a spaceship, but this is one of my favorite spaceship toys that I've bought in recent years, and it's just from this Thunderbirds cartoon. It reminds me, I have it displayed near you don't really see it in the show because they didn't have the budget at the time, but when Jack Harkness first appears in Doctor Who, he has like a red, black, and silver spaceship. And they later did a toy of it that kind of resembles this. I couldn't quite get to it. I was going to grab it, but I couldn't get to it. And even this one, like I just love the design of this, and it totally looks like a starfighter. And it has... So she talks. Oh, and those sound effects. More sound effects. More sound effects. Come on. No, just talk. Alright, she's not going to talk. But did you hear that vroom vroom sound? Because not only is it a spaceship, but the other button drops out. The cockpit turns into a motorcycle. How cool is that? So yeah, this toy is great. I'm a big fan of this toy. It locks back into place. It rattles, but it's pretty good. The toy that wouldn't talk. I know. Talk. Please talk to me. Oh, there we go. Oh, she's so breathless. I don't know. Yeah, they always say FAB at the end of their missions, and I don't know what that. I don't know what it stands for. Yeah, vroom vroom. FAB. There you go. So yeah, I love this toy. And this one is apparently the Thunderbird S. Yeah, thank you, FAB. He keeps talking. So yeah, I guess they went through enough numbers and then switched to letters for some of these newer vehicles. I watched some of the movie with the late Bill Paxton. I don't remember it being particularly good. But, what are you going to do? They can't all be winners. I do have one other Thunderbirds toy, but I'm not going to be opening it because I think I can just sell it. But Kyoto, a big Japanese company. Again, for some reason, Japanese are way into Thunderbirds. There's a bunch of collectibles out of Japan. But here's another Thunderbird 2 shiny version. And this is from the actual Revoltech line. If you're not familiar with Revoltech, oh boy. Revoltech was it sort of still exists, but it's a line of action figures from Japan that introduced essentially these ball joints at every joint that were very posable. You could do all sort of FAB. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. FAB is not actually a thing. They just like to say it. Well, thanks everybody for looking that up. Well, they clearly are fabulous. So Revoltech did a whole bunch of action figures of Japanese characters, American characters from movies and things, comics. Again, the line still is going today, but it's not exactly what it once was. But they also did some vehicles, including Thunderbirds. I guess there was a matte version, and this is obviously the super shiny version. It comes with an itty bitty Thunderbird 2. But the last I looked, I think I can possibly sell this for a decent amount. So I think I'll do that. Because I have other... I mean, I don't have one this shiny, but this is... You know, it's the same vehicle. I'm sure this one has some added details, but it's pretty much the same thing. I know it is shiny. I do like the shine, but if I can sell it for, you know, a good amount of money, then I can buy other toys with it. Other toys that I want even more. Toys, models, whatever. So yeah, so that's my little look at Thunderbirds. Again, I never watched the show, so I don't know. I can't speak to that. It is the Super Marionation, which definitely creeps some people out. But you may be into that sort of thing. I don't know. I do really love all these little ones, though. I mean, look at how cute that little one is. Oh, Arsenal Roy, that's interesting. Shout Factory, they're a cool company. They're the ones who repackage old stuff into new DVDs, often with new artwork, and they get people for interviews and stuff. It's all right. What should we do next? Should we look at bat vehicles? We can do that. So we're here. Batman. Batman's got a lot of cool vehicles, right? I like the ones that fly, especially. Let me get rid of that window. Go away, window. Now, I do always forget which one is the Batplane versus the Batwing. I don't know. For some reason, I can't keep those straight. But from the old Batman movie, got that one. Welcome, Raiders. Thank you, Mr. Runaway Train. We are doing Toy Tuesday when we unbox some toys and look at some old toys that have been in my collection, sometimes for 30 or more years, as well as new things. We just looked at some Thunderbirds toys, looking at the Thunderbird 2 here from the more recent cartoon series. Hello, Mr. Runaway Train. And now we're moving on to some Batman. So we've got the bat something. Again, I always forget which one is the Batwing and the Batplane. To me, those names are interchangeable. I know some comic book nerds would be very offended to hear that, and I'm sorry. This was a really cool one in the movie. It did that thing where it flew up through the clouds, and the silhouette made the bat symbol in the sky. I know it's not exactly focused, but you get the point. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think this one's a Batwing. Anyway, so we've got that one. Little itty bitty one. We've got animated style. And these are from various companies. This one is Ertl, which is most known for their model kits. So that one's fun. HeroClix has had a handful of vehicles over the years. It's not their specialty. Some of them have been a lot better than others. But they did this pretty rad Batwing. I do really like this one. It does come off of the base. Raiders, if you're into listening and looking at toys or mythology or Warhammer, hit that follow button. I do all sorts of nerdy streams. So this is the HeroClix Batwing that you can actually play in the game, and it makes a really cool display model. It's one of those things where it's got a kind of a neat sculpt, but they did no paint work on it whatsoever. It's just black with a transparent red plastic canopy. But it looks cool. It's sufficiently batty enough. Now, the more recent movies have introduced some new flying bat vehicles, including this one. Now, I'm in the minority in that I don't love the Christopher Nolan Batman movies. They're fine. I love that other people love them. they're just not exactly for me. So this is from the last of those movies. I don't understand this design at all. What it's supposed to be, what it's supposed to be doing. It has these like these propellers underneath somehow. It's got these hanging weapon pods. Nothing about this makes sense, but sure. Hey, look, it's a flying vehicle, so I'm gonna have at least one of them in my collection. For all the crazy lengths they go in these movies to be like, no, this all could be real. Batman could really be like this, and then he busts out something like this that's just completely fantastical. It's like, oh, okay, sure. It has this really crappy little stand, which is unfortunate because it's also very heavy. I don't even know what the name of this thing is, frankly. The flying something, I don't know. It's ugly. It makes no sense. Yeah, right, and it also doesn't have any of those cool bat. It doesn't have a cool bat shape to it. I mean, maybe you could say it looks like a bat folded up, but yeah, it's just not. I don't know. I mean, it is very much. If you think about it this way, as far as design terms, this is to this what the tumbler is to a traditional Batmobile. I think you could say that. So it's very much within its own world, just not within the overall Batman mythos and sort of design scheme tradition that we've seen before, which is fine. It's to each their own. And then, even more recently, yeah, the Deus Ex Machina. That's a good term for it. So then we have these crazy things that showed up in the Zack Snyder Batman outings, and just like everything else in the Zack Snyder movies, this is just a murder machine. It flies around. It's got huge guns on it. It annihilates people left and right, shoots them through buildings, whatever you want. Because, who cares about Batman not killing people? So this is the larger Matchbox version. This one, it looks okay. Again, as with most of these things, it's just black plastic. There's nothing. There's no detail. This one is really flimsy plastic. It's incredibly light. Like, this thing weighs nothing, but it does have wheels that move. So there's a little bit to it. Yeah, it has sort of a bat shape to it. So going along this line, I've got this one to open. So this is the Hot Wheels. Let's see. It says metal on the side. That's great. Wow, there's like no information. There's a name for this line of toys. That's what I was hoping it said on it, but it doesn't, so that's great. But it's something like movie somethings. So this line is all based on things that have been movies or TV shows. Hot Wheels with this line, they did a little tiny Enterprise from the reboot movies. There was, I think they did a Milano from the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie in this line. They've done a bunch of stuff over the years. But this is from the Batman line. And the back looks impressive, but this is all just boring copyright information. There's no actual text on here. Just says Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice for the adult collector. Let's open it up. Now the basic toy looks just like this, but shrunken down. Same company made it, so depending on how they sculpted this, if it was a 3D sculpt, it might literally be the exact same sculpt resized down. And it looks pretty darn similar. They did add these little red running lights, so there's at least something to break up the monotony of the solid black color, which is nice. No wheels, but it has a slot for the base that I'll show in just a second. This one weighs about 5 times as much as this one, because it's actually die-cast metal here instead of flimsy plastic. And then it actually comes with kind of a neat little base with the Batman symbol on there. The chubby Ben Affleck bat symbol. And I like it's like a key, kind of as a specific shape, so you couldn't put it on the wrong way. You have to do it facing this way. But overall, this is a pretty cool presentation. I like it when they do something a little bit different, something unique with the bases, so they're a little bit distinctive. I mean, I could spend an entire day just looking at toy bases. I have so many from so many different companies over the years, but it's cool when it's something, and it also that it's something distinct, but it's also small, understated, right? It doesn't need to be. I don't need something with a giant footprint that's a big symbol or bright flashy colors. It's got the symbol on there. From the front, you can't even see it. It doesn't add a lot of bulk. This is a good base. I give the base high marks. It stands up well. So yeah. So I have something to add to my Batman flying vehicle collection. I'm trying to think if I have any other. I've got a whole bunch of Batmobile toys. Ruiner. I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, Zack Snyder stuff. Are we all gonna watch Zack Snyder's Justice League? I'm gonna watch it. I have HBO Max, so I will attempt it. I don't know how long it's gonna take me to get through it. The movie is gonna be goddamn 4 hours long. And now they've changed the plans. It will be released as a full movie on its premiere, not for 1 hour episodes, because they've already changed that plan. Arsenal Roy, you're not even going to check it out, huh? Interesting. Okay. Yeah, and obviously no shade whether you're going to watch it or not. It's Zardoz, are you going to watch Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League? Coming soon to HBO Max. Make sure I plug this back in the right way. As not great as Batman v Superman is, and it's decidedly not great, the director's cut does make a lot more sense. I will give it that. It does explain some of the stuff that in the standard cut just makes absolutely no sense. So there's a little bit to it. Oh, Elaki, interesting that you haven't seen the other two. The theatrical release, we should say, of Justice League or Batman v Superman. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't recommend these movies as being good movies. Can they entertain you for a couple of hours? Sure. They're not the worst things ever by any means. There are some exciting moments. There's some good music in them. There are high points for sure. There's some humor, more so in the theatrical release of Justice League than in Batman v Superman. Well, I should say there are some humorous moments in Batman v Superman, but they are unintentionally funny. Yeah, Minty Squids, exactly. Yeah, Batman v Superman. If you haven't watched Batman v Superman, I would actually recommend the extended version rather than the theatrical version of that one. It is longer, but it makes a lot more sense. So, I find it fascinating how Warner Brothers and everybody now. Okay, hold on. Let me take a step back. Joss Whedon, very controversial figure. For a long time he was the darling of geeks everywhere. Lots of things have come out about him over the years. Not the best guy for several different reasons. I'm not going to go into all of that. If you want to go look it up, you can. For better or for worse, we get the situation where Zack Snyder was making Justice League. He had a horrible tragedy in his family, and he had to leave it. And they needed a director to come in and finish the movie. And they got Joss Whedon to do it. Joss Whedon looked at what he had to work with and was like, well, I got to do some reshoots. I got to rework this, rework that, which is what a director would do, stepping in that situation. And I think did the best he could. I think Justice League, well, I'm not going to say Justice League is a great movie. And yes, it does have some weird tonal shifts, but so do a lot of movies. And I mean, it's not. He finished the movie, made it. They put it out. It made some money. Didn't make crazy Marvel money, but it did okay. But the way that Warner Brothers now, just the way that everybody across the board just shits on that movie, like, I don't know. It's just it's really weird. Like, why? Looking at the way they've treated Joss Whedon, and essentially like they don't even say his name, like he doesn't exist, and anything that came out is just crap. And now Snyder's coming in to really do everything. It's just like, I mean, why would anybody go and work for these people again if that's how they treat their people? I don't know. It's that thing boggles my mind. Yeah, I mean, if you look at what's the other one? Oh, Solo, which we've talked about a couple times. Solo is, I think, the Star Wars movie Solo is it's fun. There's some parts of Solo that I really like. I could probably stand to rewatch that one again. I think I've only seen it twice, but that's another one where Solo was being made by one set of directors, and then that didn't work out, and then they brought in what's his face, Opie. Forever he'll just be Opie, and yeah, like if you really analyze stuff in Howard, if you really analyze stuff in Solo, it's like, well, that doesn't all gel quite the way the way you would expect a movie to, especially at that level. So yeah, it's not a bad movie for sure. Yeah, and also Howard the Duck. Yes, Ron Howard, not Clint, although he is in the movie. Vader, yeah. Also, I agree with that too. Yeah, I mean, it's very easy to see Snyder in everything he does. for better or for worse. But he is a director with a very clear vision. I mean, I think everybody can give him that. Whether you like that vision, whether you feel it's appropriate for the subject matter, that is, that's up to you. I think his vision worked probably better for Watchmen than it did for the overall DC universe. Although the Watchmen movie is not without its own flaws and inconsistencies, of course. But yeah. Anyway, Matchbox, continuing some flying vehicles. Matchbox has these Matchbox on a mission line, and they have all these flying vehicles. Some of them are real world stuff, and then some of them are just wacky, bizarre, crazy vehicles. But I love these things. I love how colorful they are, how weird they are. I'm always looking out for some of these. Oh, also, you can usually get them for very, very cheap. Yeah, Crimson Skies, exactly. Yeah, I really like them when they're reminiscent of some other things. I have a couple of these that work well in my collection in my display of Yukikaze jets and ships. So it's just weird, but it's fun. Crimson Skies stuff was awesome. I've got a bunch of that in a box somewhere. Yeah, and they always give this. They give these things all sorts of funny names. So this is the MBA. This is the line is the Sky Busters. This one in particular is the Stratostormer. And then, yeah, you'll have all these weird things mixed in with real vehicles. And that's fine. Yeah, like a pod racer. I can see that. So there's this one, and then the other one I have to open. Even weirder is this thing. What the heck is this? This is the Strato Saucer. See what this thing looks like. Ooh, it even has... Alright, that's cool. Now, this vehicle makes absolutely no sense. We've got a little bit of Millennium Falcon going on with what appears to be an offset cockpit over here. Maybe some kind of cannon array over here. I don't know. It's bizarre, but it's neat. I like how they even put the name on it. So if you forgot what the name of your ship was, it says it right there on the top. Strato Saucer. What does this one say? Has some codes. Yeah, this thing has. I mean, it's essentially flat, but yeah, and it's got these other little ducts on top. Sure. I mean, hey, whatever. I'm trying to figure out the scale of this thing because it's tiny. And with the two windows, you'd expect it has more than one pilot. So this would be pretty big, but then could you go through these center sections or do you have to go around? I don't know. Yeah, exactly, with that giant fan blade on the bottom. But it's neat. It's a fun design. And best of all, it was cheap. Oh, too bad it doesn't have a thing where when you drive it, it spins. That'd be cool. Oh, and usually with these toys, And again, like I say all the time, if you pay to make a new toy mold, you got to get a good use out of it. So these things will be reprinted endlessly in different colors. So if you do like these, you can look for them in other versions, which is always fun. There's not. And again, these, whatever these are supposed to be in the back, they are just flat, and there's no, I mean, I don't know what you want to say that thing is, just exposed wiring, probably. I mean, hell, you could stat this up for any game. Let's see. Mold was originally done in 2012. Matchbox. It actually has some neat textures on the bottom. I don't know why they went to the extra effort to do that, unless that's parts from something else that they sort of kit bashed together, which is possible. Yeah, this thing doesn't actually move, but you can imagine that, well, if the interior of this was mounted to whatever the ring shape, you can imagine it could swing out. Maybe not 180 degrees. What do we want to say? That's a twin particle beam something. Thank you for the follow, Rainus Butterfly. Appreciate that. Looking at some interesting Matchbox, just weird, bizarro shaped toys. Ooh, turbo laser. I like that idea. Let's see. What should we look at? Funko makes everything in the universe, as everybody knows. Big things, little things. I don't have a ton of Funko stuff, but I do have several My Little Pony things. Here we have the Pocket Pop. So if pops are not exactly the right shape for you, they have jumbo pops. They have mini itty bitty pops. So this is the Pocket Pop on a keychain. My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, Discord. Now, we've talked about this so many times before, but in My Little Pony, Discord is essentially Q from Star Trek, and indeed played by John Delancey. In the comic books, Discord is literally Q. In the show, just 90% Q. I have some larger Discord items around. I do not have this actual Funko Pop in the full size, but I have some other Discord things. Sadly, I was always a fan of John, of Q, and of Discord and things, but I heard more recently that apparently that guy's not really a cool dude in real life. It's like, oh man, I thought he was. I had high hopes. But apparently not. Apparently he's kind of a jerk. So that makes me like his characters just that much less. Discord is essentially a god of chaos. So he has all these really interesting mixed matched parts. Two very different style horns. Tooth on one side, two different kinds of arms, different legs, different wings, and then a tail with different parts to it. Does Funko own Bad Dragon? Not that I'm aware of, or not yet, at least. So at least it's a cute itty bitty Some of these will stand up on their own. I don't think this will with the way that tail is shaped. No. Sadly. Boo, it doesn't stand up. I'll have to put it somewhere where it can lean against something. Or it almost looks like they glued the tail on a little bit crooked. Yeah, there was. I mean, look, it's out there, so I guess I don't need to be coy about where I heard the information. But Jenny Nicholson, who is one of the greatest YouTubers of all time, she played a big role in the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic community for a long time, and she released a video. I think it's up currently. There were issues with the video about BronyCon, and she talked about her appearances at My Little Pony conventions and all the things that she did, and part of it was talking about hanging out behind the scenes and hanging out a lot with John Delancey and how well all of that went. And yeah, the stories were not great. Oh, Elaki, interesting. Yeah, he definitely loves. He loves that character. I mean, that it's a great character, and it certainly made his career. Yeah. If you haven't watched the BronyCon video, I highly recommend it. It's very interesting, especially if you were not part of that world at all and you don't know any of this stuff. There's a lot to unpack about the bronies and the brony conventions, for better and for worse. And yeah, I never attended the actual BronyCon. It was always very far away from me. I wanted to. I almost had plans to do it once. We did go to the biggest, basically the big West Coast My Little Pony convention. This was five years ago? Almost 6 years ago? No, 5 years ago. Something like that. What was the name of it? Equestria LA. That's it. Yeah, Equestria LA. We went there, took the whole family. We just had Benjamin at the time. He was really little, but several of his grandparents came with us. It was a blast. Absolutely loved it. We all loved it. Really nice people, great artists showing off stuff. Just everybody was super friendly. We had a really good time. And yeah, I would have loved to go to more My Little Pony conventions. There weren't that many around here. There was one that looked really cool up in the Bay Area, but it never worked out time-wise to go up there. And then as Jenny Nicholson talks about, the fandom sort of ended for this. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. My mom was there and she had a great time. We had pictures. It was good. But yeah, that's all of that stuff is in the past at this point. But yeah, Jenny Nicholson's video is great, talking about, again, all the good things about that community and that time, and the not so good things. The fandom just sort of ended. I mean, it was very particularly based on. Thank you, Arsenal Roy. It was very particularly based on that iteration of the show, which has now ended, and the fandom was built up so much on sort of like self-generating memes and internet stuff that it just didn't have. Yeah, as Lucky also says, there was no business model to sustain it, and it just sort of devolved. It had its time, and then it went away. But yeah, Aaron, we talk about the world of conventions very often, because again, my wife we did really well selling soaps at conventions before the pandemic. I was supposed to be at conventions this year with my book, and I have a whole bunch of copies in the house because of that. But yeah, looking forward, what are conventions going to be like? When are they going to start again? Those are all very, very good questions. I mean, we want to do conventions again once it's safe to do so. And yeah, but we got to think, especially for some of our stuff. Like my wife sells soaps, and part of the fun about having a booth full of soaps is that we would invite people to come in and pick things up and smell things and get a good look and put it back. And obviously that needs to change. We don't want everybody touching everything and bringing things close to their face and stuff like that. So we're thinking of different ideas and how we can do stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah, Fadir. I'm not expecting any convention. Maybe at the end of the year, but even that to happen. The super crazy thing is that because of all of these weird rules and laws and insurance clauses, there's so many conventions out there that are scheduled to happen that have not been canceled yet, including WonderCon next month here in the LA area, which is stupid. Obviously, it's not going to happen, but it's one of those things where if the convention cancels itself, then they lose out on certain insurance money. But if they wait and the city or the state cancels the convention, then other stuff happens. It's dumb and it's weird, but again, obviously it's not going to happen. They haven't canceled Comic-Con yet for this summer. Clearly that's not going to happen. Yeah, Gen Con, there's no way Gen Con is going to... yeah, it's... I don't know. Oh, yeah, our governor... I think the less said about that, the better. Yeah, Lackey, there's all of these weird clauses that have to do with conventions and cancellations and stuff, and who gets what money. It's all about money. It's garbage. But yes, we're whoa. Sorry about that. I kicked the base of the camera. We are going to be patient, even if they're... Oh, Lackey, great. That's good. I'm glad to hear the information from you. Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we are, our family at least, we are not planning on attending any convention until the vaccine is widely available. Obviously we're not going to any convention until we're vaccinated. And yeah, we're not. My wife is a little bit higher up on the priority list than I am, but not much. But yeah, I mean, it's just, and again, we have to figure out essentially a whole new business model of how we're going to do conventions and how to do them safely. And yeah, it's a whole new world that we're all gonna deal with and live with, and we'll figure it out. Yeah, let's make next year a good year for all this kind of stuff. How did we get on the topic of conventions? But yeah, we're trying to think of ways to let people smell the really cool and interesting scents that we use in the soaps. So I don't know if we want like spray bottle and just like spray it at them, or have... Well, actually, we're thinking of if we get the little jars of them, and then there are these little, like, they're little almost like sample sticks, so you can put a little stick in, and then the person can smell it and then dispose of it. But we're trying to find something that can be recycled or something. So we're working on ideas for that. Like he says, it's scheduled to work both Emerald City Comic Con in Seattle first week of December and PAX Unplugged second week of December. Oh wow, yeah. Oh, Fader, that's a good point too. Yeah, that's true. We could make little, either cut up soap or make just little, or take a soap and then cut it shave-ins. That's true. That's a good idea. Oh my God, Stardust, we have stickers that say "Do not eat" that we put, especially on the little samples that we give out, because they absolutely look like candy, and especially we like to hand them out to kids. So yes, please do not eat the soap. No matter how delicious it looks, do not eat it. Conventions. One day. One day we'll do them again. I also pulled out, so for next time we'll look at some DC toys. I always have more DC toys to look at. We will talk about Black Adam. Talk about how Black Adam is depicted, especially in toy form, because it varies greatly. And yeah, Nerdy Duck, just some form of that. I don't know that we want to deal with like running water in a booth. That sounds like a nightmare, but something. Or maybe we could sponsor something to go in the bathrooms. But yeah, definitely options to think about. Oh, this one, he has like almost like a vampire mouth. It's just really snarly. But that's for next time. Arrogance, that's sometimes the case when they use the when they just do flat repaints of Shazam toys sometimes. I've also got this kind of silly but kind of cool from the kids line, Batman Unlimited. Got this giant multi-pack of some interesting characters to make it into a kids Batman related thing. We'll talk about that at some point as well. But those are for next time. Yeah, Eli, that's crazy. I mean, a couple of times I've done San Diego Comic-Con and Gen Con pretty close together, and that's a nightmare. Thankfully not working at them, covering them for different things, but yeah, thankfully not like working in a booth or anything, because I couldn't imagine that. Yeah, that pack has all sorts of cool stuff in it, but that is for next time. So I should get going. I have an epic amount of work to do today in various ways, shapes, and forms. So thanks for hanging out today and checking out some toys. Let's see who is online right now. Let's do a raid. Let's raid a friend of ours. Okay. Yes. So tomorrow, like I said, tomorrow is a huge, crazy day. What is tomorrow? Tomorrow. Oh, sorry. Moved the microphone too quickly. Tomorrow, for those of you who haven't heard me talking about it yet, tomorrow is the World Read Aloud Day, which is a super fun program. Part of it, there's a whole bunch of different aspects to that event, but part of it connects authors with school kids. And so I will be actually talking to a couple of classrooms tomorrow about being an author, writing. I'll be reading some books. I will be reading Warhammer to the kids tomorrow, but when we do I will be on tomorrow for my Warhammer Wednesday stream. It might start a few minutes late, depending on how the other things that I'm doing run, but I think it'll be okay. I'll post if it's going to be late, but I'll do some reading aloud tomorrow of Warhammer. Just don't tell Games Workshop; they'll come and shut me down. But we'll definitely be doing some of that. And then, as we've been tweeting out, tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. Pacific, earlier than usual, we're kicking off the Myths and Video Games show over on the Pete Wiz channel. We're doing a really, really fun event tomorrow. We are creating our own fantastic mythological-based video game. Creating as in like talking about it and working out how things would work. and we'd love to have everybody come in and help us and pitch and give us your ideas and do all sorts of fun stuff. We're going to have a special guest. We're going to have some fun incentives. We are raising money for some equipment and stuff going forward for that show. So check it out. It'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, so all of that is tomorrow. You heard it here, folks. And now we are going to raid our friend Minty Squids. So go say hi to Minty Squids. Give a follow. And I'll see everybody back here tomorrow for Warhammer Wednesday on World Read Aloud Day. I'm going to go find some good passages to read. I have some ideas. I definitely have some ideas. I just got to go gather everything together, find all my books, and put all the bookmarks in the right places. If you have any suggestions, those of you who are Warhammer fans, let me know. I'll just say I have access to most Warhammer novels and fiction. We'll put it that way. All right. I am clicking the raid attack button. And we'll start that in just a second. Oh, you know what? We do have one of the Warhammer Quest books. Or the Warhammer Adventures. That's the kids' book line. The YA one. Yes, Fadir. That is true. But yeah, I started reading the first Warhammer Adventures 40K book to my son. It's not bad. It's interesting. It's got a lot of really British specific stuff in it, which sometimes can be a little bit of a challenge, especially to explain to kids. Just when you're already trying to explain this world, and then there's UK stuff in there. Okay, all right. Go say hi to Minty Squids, and I'll see everybody tomorrow. All right, have a great Tuesday, everybody.